Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my Plan With Me video for March. I'm using a Rhodia Gold book for my bullet journal, which I keep inside this paisley etched cover from Start Bay Notebooks. For my theme this month, I'm going to go for cacti and potted plants, which, if you have a copy of my book, are on pages 38 and 39. I decided that I wanted to go for a really bright, vibrant feel this month. The weather so far in the UK this year has been really grey, wet, windy and lots of storms, so I'm going to bring as much colour as I can into my journal. To outline my sketch, I'm using a Staedtler pigment liner with a 0.1 nib. To add colour to the leaves, I'm using Tombow ABT brush pens in numbers 126 and 173. And I'm starting off by adding the lighter green around the outside of the leaves, and I will then use that darker green colour in the middle. I have promised to share a video showing how you can use these brush pens to create a watercolour effect, and I haven't forgotten. It's definitely on my list and I'm hoping to get that recorded and out with you very soon. I really like how those two shades of green are quite similar to each other, but they just offer that little bit of contrast on the leaves. To add colour to the pot, I'm going to be using numbers 620 and 673. And one of the things I really like about these brush pens is that because the nib is so broad, you can colour in areas really quickly. So I've used that light blue colour for the bottom, and I'm doing the rest of the pot in this purpley pink shade. And the final thing that I will do to this pot is use a grey brush pen in N75 just to add a little bit of shading along the side. On the opposite page, I'm going to write out a quote. And for this, I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib. And the quote reads, "When things change inside you, things change around you." And with us hopefully getting into spring now, it's made me think about all the different changes that are happening outside and how I really want to focus on the different things that I'm doing as well. So I'm now going to letter out the word March underneath the pot plant, and I will then add some final pieces of decoration using some stickers from my own product range. And as always, everything that I use to create the pages in this video will be linked in the description box down below. And if you do decide to follow along with any of these themes, I would absolutely love you to tag me on Instagram under Journal with Purpose so that I can see and share your pages. The next thing I'm doing is setting up my calendar page for March, and I've used that lovely yellow washi tape from London Gifties down the left-hand side. This layout works really well for me. It's very quick and easy to set up and gives me all of the space that I need to add in any of my appointments and deadlines that are coming up. And I also make a note at the end of every day of the different types of work that I've been focusing on. And at the end of the month, that gives me a really nice kind of full picture of everything that I've done. I'm now adding a little cactus illustration on the bottom of my page. The orangey coloured pen that I'm using is number 873. I tend to stick to one theme when I set up my monthly pages, but when I get into my weekly and daily spreads, I really kind of just pick any theme that I fancy for that week, because I don't like to be restricted throughout a whole month to just one theme. So I'm using the same green brush pens that I did before, and then matching in the colour of the pot to the colour of the flower on the cactus plant. On the opposite page, I'm going to be setting up to somewhere to record my key tasks, my social media stats, and also a place to complete my end of month review. And this works really well alongside my calendar to give me an overview of the whole month, really of everything that's been happening, how I felt about it, and anything that I might want to change for the following month. And I'm then going to add another 2 doodles to my page to tie in with that theme. I often use pencils to add colour in my bullet journal, but I just really fancied something more vibrant this month, and I think those brush pens have really done the job. Again, I'm using the same colours as before. The only different colour that I'm using is that very pale yellowy colour, which is number 910. And that's the one that I'm using just to colour in that pot now. Now that that is all set up, I'm going to create my master task list pages. And this is where I record 4 different sections. One is JWP, which is Journal with Purpose. Then a section for social media posts, HR tasks, and things for me. And this really helps me to organise all of the different tasks that I need to get completed, but it also helps me to be a bit more balanced in what I do. Each day I try and pick off at least a couple of the tasks from each of the sections to make sure that I'm not neglecting any particular area. The next pages I'm setting up are for my gratitude log and habit tracker. At the end of this video, I'll be sharing a flip through of all of my completed pages from February, so that you can see how these types of pages look once they're all filled in. For my habit tracker, I turn my bullet journal the other way round, and I find this gives me a really nice amount of space to be able to write all of the dates along the top and the habits that I want to track along the left-hand side. And each month I have a quick think just to check that the habits I'm writing down are definitely still ones that I want to be working on and focusing on every day. And I just quickly fill out that tracker every evening. For decoration, again, I'm using some stickers from my own product range. The next pages that I'm setting up are my reasons to be proud and notes pages. And my reasons to be proud, I mention it all the time, but it's one of my favourite pages. Every evening, I just try and write down at least one line of things that I think I've done well at throughout the day. And they could be big things, but they're most likely little things like I've handled a situation well, or I've prioritised my tasks well, or even recognise that actually I need some rest. So they're definitely pages that I use every month in my bullet journal. To add some extra colour to my pages, I'm using these really thin strips of washi tape that don't say stuck down very well, so aren't much good for anything else, but they're perfect for masking off the edges of the pages for some neat lines. And I'm going to do that on both of the pages using the 2 different coloured green pens. It just gives you a really nice fun effect to your journal pages. I recently released a blog post called 21 Ways to Use Washi Tape, and this is one of the techniques that I show in there, and it's a really good way of being able to use some of that washi tape which perhaps doesn't stick down as well as you might like, Or if you've got some other washi tape, you can always just pat it against your jeans or some clothes to take a little bit of the stickiness away, so that when you do peel it off your pages, you know you're not going to damage them at all. The next pages that I'm setting up are for my YouTube schedule, blog posts, any deadlines that I've been set by clients, and also an ideas section where I tend to jot down any comments I've had on YouTube videos for future content and any ideas that I've got for Skillshare classes and my blog. And this is really helpful for me just to have a monthly page where I can keep a track of when I've written and released blog posts and when I've filmed and edited YouTube videos, just so that I can see how much I've been able to get done throughout that month and how much I'm going to need to carry forwards. And I'm just adding some really quick, simple doodles next to each of those sections. The final pages that I'm setting up for March are my Don't Forget pages and also my mood tracker. And again, I'll show you how these all look once they're completed in my flip through at the end. In my recent blog post about washi tape, this is another one of the projects that I shared, and I really like the look of that, so that is how I'm going to create my mood tracker for this month. I'm going to use 3 different coloured washi tapes for Great, OK and Poor, but you could of course use more depending on how many different types of moods that you want to track throughout the month. I'm then going to draw 5 wavy lines across my page, and I'm going to then add the different numbers for each day of the month along the top. I'll also add some little lines underneath each of the numbers so that I can hang the different bits of washi tape off the bottom of those so that it look like they're hanging from the line. And I'm already really looking forward to seeing how this mood tracker looks at the end of the month. Now that I've finished setting up all of my pages for March, I'll share a quick flip through with you of my completed pages from February so that you can see how they look once they're all complete, and all of my other pages. So this was my February cover page and also my currently spread, along with my February calendar so far and the review that I'll complete at the end of the month, my nice and full master task list, with my gratitude log and habit tracker. And these are my reasons to be proud and notes pages so far, with my schedules and deadlines and my mood tracker. For my Don't Forget pages, I just tend to pencil things in as they happen throughout the month. So then right at the end of February, I'll go and complete that. So this is how my pages look for January, where I've just lettered and doodled in the different things I really want to remember from that month. After my monthly setup, I have my weekly spreads and also my daily to-do lists. My weekly spreads tend to have a Dutch door and all follow that same format. And then with my dailies, I just take up as much space as I need to write down all of my tasks for each day. And that having that structure for the weekly layout, but the daily layout being more loose, is one that works really well for me. And this is my current page for my bullet journal. And then we're back to the pages that we've just set up during this Plan With Me video. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, it would be great if you leave it with a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. If you've got any questions or comments, then please do leave them down below and I'll do my very best to get back to you. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you really soon in the next one.